Thank you for calling the Tom the Treeman Show. This is Kat and Danny. Who are you speaking with?
You are speaking with the Vital Idol Classy Mike Trash.
Hey.
Hi, Mike.
Hi there.
How you doing?
How are you?
I am great. How are you?
Very, very good. I thank you for calling us.
I just got out of Star Trek, and I got to say, that's a good movie.
Star Trek, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, the new one. How is it?
Yes,
Awesome.
it was great. If you like Star Trek, it was great.
Awesome.
And I happen to like Star Trek, so to me it was great.
That's awesome. My dad used to like this.
So who are there?
You? I'm Danny, and I'm doing my call-in.
And I'm Kat. I'm Kat. I'm the producer and co-host for the Tom the Treeman Show. And Tom has stepped out for a little bit, but he should be back in a little while. He had to go take care of some other business, but yeah, we're here.
He had to cut a tree down.
Yeah,
cut a tree down.
Basically, yeah.
An emergency job.
He's afraid of me. That's the problem. You see, he knew I was calling in, so he had to clear the lines, and there's not enough room for two egos.
Oh, okay.
that could be. You never know.
Yeah, it might be, huh?
But you're states and states away, so it should be okay. You're in Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah, but you see, my ego goes across states. It doesn't just contain itself to one state.
Well, that could be a good thing. That could be a bad thing.
Well, when I was in pro wrestling, we wrestled all over the country, and I was in 16 states. Although I didn't make it to Florida, closest I made it was Georgia.
Oh, you got to make it to Florida sometime.
Yeah, but that's cool. When you said that you were in wrestling, I was like, really? That's freaking awesome.
So I like to get my hands on all kinds of things that I shouldn't be in. I involved myself in many different avenues, and actually my newest project is I wrote a television show that I'm trying to sell. It's called The Vital Idol. It's loosely based on me, very loosely, and it's kind of a fun show that I'm trying to get some notice from the real entertainment people, and we'll hopefully get there someday.
That would be really cool if it did.
So what's
and then we can say, Kat and I can say that we talked to you way before you got even all that famous.
Right?
Oh, I don't know.
Well,
I promised to get you music. Oh, I forgot to get you music. I'll have to get some of our cuts. Actually, if you want to look on the internet, you could look on Amazon and you can hear little clips of our songs by searching for the code Love in a Blender, and then you look for the Uncle Sam Band, and that's me.
Awesome.
Bubba Thunder?
Bubba Thunder.
I'll get you the real clips then eventually. But, you can at least hear a little bit about what we sound like. We played this past Saturday for the Red Cross, raising money for the Red Cross. It was fun, a lot of fun. It was hot, it was very sweaty, very humid, and I was very dehydrated by the end of the night, but I loved it.
That's good. That's awesome.
Now, what was it?
So I like to keep my hands in all kinds of entertainment.
That sounds like...
You kind of have to. Keep yourself busy.
Yeah, that's one thing I never have a problem doing. I always have something that I'm working on, between the radio show, the band, the whatever else I do, the TV show, hopefully. So, and actually we're working on a new album now. My wife died a couple years ago, and I wrote a couple really good songs about her, and so that's part of what the album's about. Because we write songs about life. We don't write, party songs. We write about life.
That's great, and that's what most people like to hear also, is things that they can relate to. And then that's when people actually hold on to a song and it turns into their favorite because it pertains to something that's gone on in their life or that they can relate to. So that's awesome that you guys do that. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's what the TV show's about, too. It's about, life. It's about things that we go through every day. It's about living, and it's all about the music. The song is about or the TV show is about a washed-up rock star and the things he went through in his life. And at the end of each show is one song, and at the end of the show, you get to see an MTV-style video that kind of encapsulates what you watched.
That sounds pretty cool. I hope that somebody big gets a hold of that and they can get things going for you, because it sounds like it'd be something that, I mean, I myself would watch, my husband would watch, so I really hope that goes places for you.
If you'd like to see the trailer, you go to YouTube, and you can look for Classy Mike Trash, or you can see me on Facebook. I have a fan page for the Vital Idol TV show, and I also have on, you can get us on Twitter, Mike Trash TTRS. You can get me on Facebook, Classy, Vital Idol Classy Mike Trash, I think is my page on Facebook, and then there's a page for the Trash Talking Radio Show, which is Trash Talking Radio Show, and there is an Uncle Sam Band page, Uncle Sam Band NPA is the page, and you can hear different things, see different pictures. I used to have a bigger page on Trash Talking Radio, but they shut my page down because people on Facebook are stupid. So they made me start a new page. I had like 4,500 people, and they shut me down, so I had to start all over again.
Man.
I had really good videos on there, too. It's a shame because I lost the videos because my server crashed. The only videos I had were on the Facebook, and they shut it down.
Oh, my gosh.
Facebook sucks.
Yeah. Well, I found
it's a necessary evil.
I found your Facebook page and everything so that we could go ahead and share it on our Facebook page as well. So it would make it easy for people to find it on our end.
That's good.
I hope a lot of people will go to it and see what you're all about. And, I mean, you sound like you got to
hear us on Tuesday, and as you know, we do stuff about movie reviews, like I'll do reviews about tonight. We do news, and then I put the clips as I'm talking. I post the clips on Twitter and Facebook so you can follow along. Mm-hmm. And it kind of makes it, I think it makes it interesting. We're going to be unveiling some new stuff coming up over the next couple of weeks. I'm also I'm upgrading my studio. I'm doing some changes and stuff like that. That's going to enhance things. We're going to apply video to our stuff, and I'm just trying to figure out all the engineering part of making the videos work and making it work with what we're doing. So I think we're going to see some changes in and we're seeing things evolve. I mean, I've been on the internet radio since 2003, and I've been on some terrestrial radio since 2003, although not recently. But I like the internet radio because we have a little bit more freedom to say what we want to say and do what we want to do. So, I hope people will listen, tune in. Danny loved it, and I think that's a good recommendation.
Definitely. Well, I listened to it on Tuesday. You guys had a great show. You said you had a couple technical difficulties, which just listening to you guys talk and interacting with you on Twitter, I didn't even notice. I thought it was a really cool show, and I hope other people will tune into you guys Tuesdays. And from 7, do you go till 10 or 11?
I go till 10. Well, yeah, I mean, we can go if, Jack never kicks me off, so I can go until this. I mean, we actually, we had some issues in the beginning where Jack could only give me from 7 to 9, and the guy was on from 9 to 10 did a lot of complaining about me and eventually quit, and then I took his 10 o'clock slot. So
that's kind of how we went. We went from 7 to 9, and we ended up expanding to 11.
Yeah, I once did. I mean, I don't want to take over your show here, but I can tell you stories about some of the people I've had on the show that are very unique and entertaining. I've had people like, I don't know if you know who New Jack is or not, but he was a pro wrestler who is very controversial, and he's been in jail a bunch of times, and he happened to be a real good friend of mine. And one time we interviewed him from jail, And we had to do it in 10-minute segments, which cost me a lot of money because they charge you for those segments because of the time that the inmates are allotted. And that ended up costing me $120 for that interview.
Oh, wow.
Holy
cow.
Yeah, because he had to call me back, and every time he called me back, I got charged again from the jail.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sure it was worth it, though. It probably gave you a damn good show that night, and I'm sure a lot of people enjoyed it. But $120, holy cow!
And then I had Hulk Hogan on, and it cost me nothing. So I had him on twice. And that was a fun show. We talked to him, and I had a couple years. Well, this was probably about 8 years ago. I had Ring of Honor president and owner at that time on my show for 6 hours. The day before, he got busted for trying to lure a child into his car.
Holy cow.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, I've had some very controversial guests on my show. I've had Damon Feldman, who's a good friend of mine, who does celebrity boxing. I have had him on the show a bunch of times. He wanted to get me involved in celebrity boxing, and I kind of denied him. I said that wouldn't be a good idea because I got banged up so bad in pro wrestling. I don't think I'd be very helpful in boxing. So.
That's really cool, though. Yeah, I'm sure you do have all sorts of different stories, and maybe this week you can throw some of them out there, because I'll be listening again on Tuesday. And hopefully the people that are listening to us right now will tune in on Tuesday to you guys on TuneIn Radio on the Mixed Talk, starting at 7.
Yeah, it's fun. Well, usually we start somewhere between 7 and 7:15. It's whenever I feel like turning on the switch and getting all my notes lined up and letting my co-hosts know what we're going to be doing, because they don't know till the minute of the show. I don't, because I like keeping things fresh. I don't want people to prepare too much for the show. I want actions as you would expect them live. From where, like if I go into a bar and talk to somebody, I don't give them cliff notes. I kind of talk to them the way people talk, and that's the way my show is meant to be. My show is meant to be on the spur of the moment, and I don't like a lot of preparation from their side because I want their real life reactions.
Right. It does make a difference, I can tell you that, because like I do a couple things for this one. I did a stupid little top 10 thing, but that was pretty much the only thing I looked up. And Kat and I, especially when Tom leaves, we just sit here and touch from one subject to the next, and it makes for a really fun hour that I'm on, and sometimes it goes by too quick.
Y'all just wish I left, that's why.
There you go. And then,
that's me.
Get the creepy voice in the background.
Live in the house.
He's awesome, man. He's awesome.
Awesome.
Hey, Tom, how you doing, man? I never got to meet you. I'm a big fan of yours.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much. Hey,
what's that?
How you like doing your own show?
Oh, I've been doing it since 2003. It's great.
I think
I've been on stations like Seattle. Seattle had us as a over-the-air broadcast, so I had to be careful when I was on that. I was on public radio for a while. I had to be careful with the language, and now we've been with Jack now for 6 years, I guess. So we've been, I like it. I like the home with Jack because the mix has been really good to me.
The good thing about Jack too is he lets you do whatever you want as long as you're enjoying yourself. And he doesn't, there's been a couple people that we had an example. I don't know if Kat talked about it. We had when we had Sunset and all them on. We had a bunch of little controversy going on, and what they were doing is they were calling Jack, and Jack goes, "Look, this is Tom's show. He does what he wants to do. Okay, you talk to him." So that's
right. I've had some controversies too, where I was telling them a little while ago. I was on from 7 to 9 for a while because there was a show on from 9 to 10, and they kept complaining about me because I'd never stop exactly at 9. I would go till I was done, but I tried to get off at. It's just they wanted me off at. They wanted me off 5 minutes early, and I didn't want to do that. I had my show pretty much booked, and so I kind of, they eventually quit And then the guy that was on 11 to 12 quit. So then, it kind of, I go until I finish now. And, Jack has never complained, and he's always been happy with what we're doing. So, can't complain about that.
No, well, one of the biggest things is when we started, which I'm sure you've seen it, we started same thing roughly what you did, 7 to 9. And then it went up to 10, because you start talking. And I'm like, man, this ain't that bad. You can, as long as you're going with a good conversation, you can continue going. The next thing you knew, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to 11. And like sometimes what we'll do is we'll go ahead and I'll get on Kat will leave and she'll be leaving already on her way home. And I'll be like, all right, I'll end the show up at, I'll throw some, I usually throw back Tom, from like 10 to 11 or whatever. And then I just start getting into the music, man. The next thing you knew, it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, damn, I'm still going, but Jack.
That's a great thing about not having any real rules is that you can do whatever you want. I try to stick 7 to 10 because, I used to do a lot of interviews. I did a lot of pro wrestling interviews, and I was actually one of the guys that started the pro wrestling radio shows. And a lot of guys did their shows or started their shows because of me. So, it was kind of a thing where everybody was trying to emulate me. So then I got out of doing pro wrestling. I started doing shows about everything. And I actually enjoy that more because I'm retired from wrestling. And I have an aching to be involved in the business. But it's a lot easier not to be involved with the business if you're not doing a show about the business.
Absolutely. And I do understand where you're coming from because my brother-in-law, Sean Waltman, X-Pac, he won't even come on my show. I'm like, dude, come on my show. He'll go on everybody else's but my own. He's like, no, it just doesn't make me feel right. He goes, and I'm like, what do you mean it doesn't make you feel right? He goes, yeah, when you're talking, on the other shows you have to be kind of professional and everything like that. But on here, you don't have to. You can, and I'm like, okay, well, that would be cool then. You could express yourself and do it. He goes, no, that's the problem. I might say something that I regret later on. Mm. So,
and everybody would be listening to him. So
that's one of the things I always tried to do too. Was I was protecting the business because I was in the business. I knew how to protect the business, and the wrestlers trusted me. Like when I had Hogan on, I talked about things I knew that wouldn't get us in trouble. Well, I had, I've had so many. If you're into pro wrestling, I've had so many pro wrestlers that are like CM Punk. I had him on twice before he became big. I had on Daniel Bryan on my show before it became Daniel Bryan. I had a great relationship with Ring of Honor. They used to give me, like I had Dusty Rhodes on my show. It was just great to talk to those people. And it's the people that I watched when I was a kid. So I was always great and giddy because these are my heroes that I got to talk to, like Bruno Sammartino. I mean, it just is an awesome thing to be able to talk to your heroes.
Exactly. Well, that was that was the same thing. Like, I'm a big Dolphin fan, and a couple, I had Richmond Webb on here. I had Sam Madison on here. And I'm thinking to myself, these are guys that wouldn't have gave me the time or day if I was standing at the Dolphin Stadium, but they'll get on my show and talk to me. And I thought I'm like, man, this is great. Yeah,
it's awesome. It's awesome to be able to have that time where you're able to expose people to a different side of the people that they would never, ever hear before. I had Kamala on my show, and when he spoke, I had people tuning into my show because they'd never heard Kamala speak before. And they were all excited because he was going to speak for the first time like a person.
Right.
And it was funny because you hear him talking, and you're like, that can't be Kamala. That sounds like a southern farmer. But it wasn't. It was Kamala.
See, and that's the thing. See, now like you said earlier, when you're talking to people, you're talking to people like me and you, like we're just BSing at a bar. That's what you got to give them that comfort zone that you're not pressurizing them and you're not going, okay, like pulling teeth, all right, where do you start? What made you do this? No, just, tell me about your life. Tell me how, what you want to talk about. Don't worry about what I want to talk about.
Well, guess who I just made contact with, and you haven't heard his name in probably 10 years, Curtis Hughes.
No way.
Mr. Hughes.
Yep.
He's coming on my show. I got to get my phone lines fixed, but he's coming on my show. I got a reputation in the wrestling business because I was involved in it, and it helps. because, you want the names. And I dug up people that you never hear anymore. I had Paul Roma on my show, and nobody heard his name for 12 years. And I picked him up, and we had a great interview. I had the Ultimate Warrior on my show. He was the first. I was the first one to speak with him after his silence for 16 years.
Wow. That's.
And it was after he died like 3 times since then. But,
well, how about RVD? Have you had him on there? Because he's really a good interview.
Several times he's been on my show, and in fact, he started a radio show after being on my show.
Oh wow!
See, that's makes him want to do something. I mean, now I'm actually good friends with Luke from Bushwhackers, and
yeah, I had him on my show just about a year ago, but I worked a couple shows with him, and it was great. One of the things I liked about being in the business was that I wasn't the star. I went in the back locker rooms, and I would talk to these guys, and they were the stars. I just sit back and listen. I was in a match with Jerry Lawler against, it was me and my buddy Cage, and another guy. I was managing him, and I can't remember who his partner was, but he went against this one, Jerry Lawler and this, no, not Jerry Lawler. I'm sorry. It was, the Rock, the Elvis guy.
No. I know you're talking about.
Honky Tonk.
Honky Tonk Man. Honky Tonk Man.
So in the locker room, we're all talking, and Honky Tonk's giving some great stories. Anyway, so we go into the match. It's Honky Tonk Man and the Snake guy. This guy was like Jake the Snake. He had a big giant snake against Cage and our partner, whoever it was. I can't remember who it was. And after the match was over, you got to think that somebody's going to get the snake. Guess who got the snake?
Oh, you did.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I don't want this big old freaking snake. I closed my eyes. They put the snake on me. I opened my eyes. He pulled the snake's head about 3 inches from my face.
Oh, my goodness.
It freaked me out.
Trust me, I would have crapped my pants right there. I hate. There's some about I cannot stand snakes at all.
No, they're not pleasant people.
No.
And neither are the wrestlers. So it was fun. It was, and then there was a time in Georgia we took on Brutus. I got paired up with this guy. He was a Georgia wrestler. He was supposed to be a Georgia champion wrestler. I can't think of his name right off the top of my head. And we were going against Brutus Beefcake. It's the first time I met the guy that I was managing. And we're at ringside. Well, I'm at ringside, and we were at center stage. That's where WCW used to record all their stuff.
Okay.
And it was awesome to be in center stage. And we were wrestling. And I worked cards with Brutus Beefcake before. But and he knew who I was. He's been on the show a couple times, so I was lucky to know him. That night, I'm standing at ringside, and I'm watching this match. And I'm a big fan of wrestling and the art of wrestling. And I'm watching, I'm saying, wow, they're looking, that looks really real. And then the guy got thrown out of the ring. I said, wow, that really looks, that looks really tight. He goes, it is. He's beating me up. He said, I'm not going back in there. I said, you got to go back in there. The match isn't over yet. He goes, I'm not going back in there. And then he took me and threw me in the ring. And I'm thinking, that's great. You just pissed off Brutus Beefcake, and you're going to run away. So I thought, well, the best thing I can do is I'll turn my back to him. He'll put me in the sleeper hold. That'll be the end of the match.
Yeah.
So I turned my back to him, and I felt this big hand on my shoulder. He flung me around, and I thought, uh-oh. And I see this big old ham hock coming at me. And I thought, no. I went down, and I thought, okay, 2 things I can do. I can get up and piss him off again, or I can just lay here and play dead. Well, he picked me up, he hit me again, and then he put me in a sleeper hold. Then he cut my hair, and my hair never grew back where he cut it from. And then he picked me up, he threw me out of the ring, and he hauled out yelling, and the next thing I hear is, I'm going to kill him! I'm going to kill him! And I thought, oh, jeez, he's really mad. And I get in the back, and he goes, I'm going to kill your friend. You better watch out. I'm going to kill your friend. I said, I don't even know him. And then I went in again, and I said, look, Bruce, I had nothing to do with that. I don't even know the guy's name. And he said, okay, it's not you. It's not you. I'm just really mad at him because, I guess he slipped up and hit him by accident. That was the wrong thing to do. But it was fun.
Well, a lot of people don't. I mean, you do obviously, and I do also, but nobody understands the back scenes of what exactly goes on in wrestling until you're there. I mean, I was back there with Abyss and Ric Flair, and that's when they were on TNA when Bubba was over there along with Hogan and stuff, and we're over there, and I'm like, he's like, all right, you're gonna hit me with this bat, and it has has barbed wire on it, the whole 9 yards, and he's like, so he taps him basically, they're doing a little, they'll run through again, and he taps him, and he goes, no, you hit me with it. This is Ric Flair saying that, and I'm looking at Ric Flair. And I'm thinking, if nobody really sees Ric Flair up front, which you probably have too, but I've seen him, but the dude is big. He doesn't look like he's stacked with muscles. I'm like, God damn, friggin' 60, what is he, 60 years old? And the guy's friggin' probably could still bench probably 400 pounds.
Yeah. Ric Flair used to be 350, 400 pounds.
Yeah, no, I didn't know it was that big.
Yeah, he started out in wrestling really, really heavy. And somebody sat him down and said, look, you got to lose this weight. And he ended up losing all the weight and becoming the world champion. So
16 times.
Yeah. I had some good. I'll tell you, the one time when we were down in Georgia for a week. The same day that was the same. That was the same week as the Brutus Beefcake thing. Our first day in Georgia, my buddy set us up with jobs every night. So we had one night off. We had two jobs in one day. So we were there from Monday through Saturday, and we worked every night, and then except Thursday, and then we worked 2 times on Saturday, I think it was. Anyway, so we get there the first night, and we get to this place called the Detour. Now, we don't know anything about this place, but we know that the people in Georgia, they're good wrestlers in Georgia. Different style than we're used to, but different wrestlers. So Cage and I are sitting there at the bar. It's a bar. And the ring is in the corner of the room. And we sit there and we're like sitting around and we're talking and we're like watching these people come in. And then we started noticing that most of the people coming in were men. And they were kind of looking at us weird. And we kind of figured out that this was no longer a regular bar. This was a detour bar. And I went up to my buddy and I said, is this a gay bar? He said, I told you it was a gay bar. I said that this was a different venue. I said, you didn't tell me it was a gay bar. You told me it was a different venue.
They want to see you in those tights.
It doesn't matter to me that it's a gay bar, but
right.
It mattered to Cage that it was a gay bar because he was in the ring. I was outside the ring. But, it's just kind of funny because Cage comes up to me and goes, dude, I think this is a gay bar. I think you might be right.
I would say, just get your ass back in the ring. Those guys are watching you.
That's right.
It only
hurts for a while.
Exactly. Talking about the renegade, Brutus the Beefcake Barber, whatever you want to call him these days. But when he was going through his divorce years ago, I just happened to be at hanging out with him and Hogan and all them, and he's like, dude, you got to, which you probably already know this already, but he's like, dude, you got to have my favorite drink, and I'm like, what is that? He said, a Flamin' Dr. Pepper, and I'm like, okay, it just doesn't sound right, Flamin' Dr. Pepper, and he's like, no, dude.
He was at Detour Bar.
Yeah, but he takes it. He drops it in, and it's on fire basically, and you go to drink it. When you drop it in, it's on fire, and then you drop the soda inside the Dr. Pepper inside it, and then you drink it. That's what puts out the fire. But it was neat because I'm like, I looked at him. He goes, "Yeah, we're gonna do it flaming Dr. Pepper." I'm like, I don't even want to know that shit. But all right, we'll try it. But that's the thing. These people, in fact, I was telling my son, he likes AJ Styles, and
right.
And I told him, I said, dude, we were over in I was over there at TNA when they were filming, and I had to bring Hogan to Hard Rock hotel over there, and I had to go into Walgreens, and there's AJ buying a toothbrush, and I'm thinking these people around that are shopping and they're not talking to him, whatever. I'm thinking to myself, I wonder if they understand they got superstar wrestlers that come in this store, constantly, and they don't even know that these guys are, because they don't look like they're wrestlers when they walk in.
Well, Hulk Hogan came into my store when I was working for the Disney stores, and it was Christmas time, and he wanted to get toys for the kids and everything like that when Toy Story was really popular and stuff. So, but he came in his whole get up and stuff.
Well, he still wears that to this day.
Yeah.
It's funny. The way I got Hogan on the show was I got a publicity, their publicity agent for Brooke, and I brought her on the show because I'm a musician too. And I brought her on and I was talking music with her. We went 50 minutes straight talking about music, and then she goes, "Hold on a second. I have someone who wants to talk to you." And I knew who that someone was, and I got nervous all of a sudden because my plan worked. My plan was, be nice to Brooke, and you'll get Hogan.
Exactly.
And people were, the internet, this was in 2006, the first time I had him on the air, when he had his Hogan Knows Best show.
Yeah.
And he was telling, that was the best 15 minutes of an interview that I've ever done. And it's just because it was easy. Hogan just talked like he was great. He could do an interview easily. And then the next year I had him on again when he was coming back from SummerSlam, and he was at the airport, and I called him, and he said, he said, "Well, I'm at the airport." I said, "All right, well, can I call you later? Can I get a makeup interview?" He said, No, brother, let's just do it." So I did the interview from the airport, and but then the following year he broke up with Linda, and it's funny listening to him talk now and thinking about what we were talking about and stuff, and knowing that his life was falling apart. I got a really weird feeling about it because you don't think of Hogan as a guy whose life falls apart. You think of Hogan as the champion, and you don't really think of him as a human being. You think of him as an athlete, and put him on a high pedestal. And I was never a Hogan fan until he came on my show. Then all of a sudden I felt really kind of weird about it because his life fell apart then.
I'll tell you a cool story about this. I talked about it on air before, and Hogan actually talked about it. How I got him lost to Miami. I don't know if you heard about this or not, but it was the Super Bowl. They had it down there. They had a Super Bowl. It was I think it was the Bears. The Bears were playing in Miami, and they had a big concert. And I'm over there with Hogan, Jim Kelly, from football, and Jeff Gordon, Paul White, Nick. Anyway, and believe it or not, Chuck Berry, which I thought was cool. and also Ruth Paul. So, but anyway, we're all sitting there, and I'm just BSing. We're I'm a guest basically in his VIP area, and then I didn't know. I guess it got really busy, so Jennifer Lopez was singing. So they went ahead and they parked the limos in the back of the venue instead of the front where they were dropping them off at, because when they dropped them off at the front, they did the red carpet. So Hogan says to me, he call, I don't know why he calls me. He doesn't call me Tom the Tree Man. He calls me Tampa Tom. If you ever hear him go, "Hey, Tampa Tom," that's who he's talking about. So he's like,
cool.
He's like, "Tampa Tom, let's go." And I'm not even from Tampa. That's the bad thing. But anyway, but he's like, "Tampa Tom, what's the easiest way to get out of here?" And I'm like, "Dude, let's go out the front way." I said, because it's shorter than the back way. Well, I didn't know they moved the limos to the back. Well, we walk out, and you know how he is. He's tall, so he's like, "Dude," he goes, "Bro, you got me and all these people, man. This is not cool, man. You're going to get me killed out here." Anyway, we walk down we're looking for his limo. We can't find the limo. Obviously, we don't know it's in the back now. And now the bad thing is I'm supposed to go the next day with him to his house, which I'm sure you knew. Shakira lived right next to him, and he said he could look at her her house right there, and basically the sunbathe and everything. But anyway, so I'm all excited. I'm going to go to his house, hang out with him there, watch the football game. Well, anyway, we end up leaving down there. Of course, Linda and Brooke, they're talking to everybody, autographs, the whole 9 yards. We're mobbed. Hogan's just standing above, and he's like, the whole time, motherfucker, this, and this. And I'm like, dude, I'm sorry, man. I didn't know your limo was going to be moved or whatever. Long story short, we get down about, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 blocks. Here comes a limo pull up. It's Chuck Berry and his limo. He's like, get in. And he's like, all right, Tom, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Dude, every time I talk to him, he brings that up, that I got him almost killed in Miami. And I'm like, man, it wasn't on purpose. I didn't do it on purpose, but.
Oh, that's great. The man who killed Hogan.
Yeah. I'm thinking Paul White had no problem of going out, and Nick, they went through the same way. They walked right to the vehicle. I can't help it, but they drove, though. They didn't drive in a limo. So.
Well, it's kind of funny because you think about that, and then you think about how it was in the 70s. When they said they could have been killed, Bobby Heenan told me a couple stories about how they would go from town to town, and they would leave, and they would have bullet holes in their cars because the people were so mad at them because they were the heels, and they were getting that much heat that they would, they had to worry about people shooting at them. So
that's crazy.
It's a different world we live in now.
Hey, Eric Bischoff was just asked a question on Twitter. Who would he bring if he still had WCW? Who would he bring back as his first wrestler? And he said Dick the Bruiser.
Oh, you're talking about Dead or Alive, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Well, he was. I remember him as a kid too. He was scary. He was. Those guys back then, they weren't cartoon characters then. They were scary people, and they liked it that way. The world of wrestling now, it's all, larger than life. And they were brawlers. They were legit brawlers because they had to be.
Yeah.
I remember when I interviewed Superstar Billy Graham, he told me a story about Bruno, his time with Bruno Sammartino in Philly. He was wrestling him, and the referee was Dick Worley. I don't know if you remember that name or not, but Dick Worley was the big referee back in the WWF days. And he said that he was wrestling Bruno, and things got out of hand, and he threw Bruno into the guardrails, and it knocked him out. Well, I of course wanted to confirm this, so I brought Bruno on the show, and Bruno said, "There's no way that happened. He's just lying. He hates Superstar. Legit hates Superstar." So he said he was lying, that it never happened. And so then I brought on Dick Worley. I figured, why not get the referee's point of view?
Absolutely.
And he said that it was something in between the one and the other about what really happened, but it's kind of funny. So I miss the days of talking to a lot of those guys, but I don't want to be typecast anymore. And I was typecast for a long time because I did it for so long. I was a wrestling show for so long. I love the business. The business never loved me. Luna Vachon, I remember when she busted she broke my 5th vertebrae from my neck, or I think it was maybe it was the 4th vertebrae. I was managing one of the girls. It was a 3-way match with the girls, and I was at the end of the match yelling at my girl because she didn't win, and then all 3 girls ganged up on me and beat me up at the end of the match, and it was great. It was a great ending. But when I fell and did my bump, I fell wrong, and I actually paralyzed my one arm, and it was horrible. I didn't know if I busted myself up or what was going on, but those injuries are real.
Yep.
I can tell you that.
Yep, I'll tell you now. I don't know if you've seen when Hogan entered TNA. I don't know if you've seen the first episode of when he did that. But I don't know if you've seen when Scott Hall. That was the coolest thing. Like I can remember like it was yesterday when Scott Hall came out there. It was the NWO and he came to deal, and I was the one that he pulled over the fence. I was running my mouth to him, pointing at him. It was all staged. Of course it's all staged, but he pulled me over but when he grabbed you, dude, my freaking heart just started beating. Even though I knew, I'm like, he's not going to hurt me, but it just freaked the shit out of you because you don't know. People are like, and they're trying to people grab my legs. I'm thinking to myself, no, this is not supposed to be like this. You're not supposed to grab my legs, people. They're trying to pull me back from them. And, finally I get over and, I fall on and act like I'm knocked out. And, which, also you got to kind of roll to underneath the guardrails. This way you're out of their way. So he's like, once you hit the ground, you roll. I'm like, okay. But it's so nerve wracking because, your energy and everything. I'm thinking to myself, I'm on TV and I'm being pulled over by Scott Hall, Razor Ramon, which, back in the WCW days, when him and, Kevin Nash took over. And that was another cool thing, and I'm thinking half of the times I was back there with, Mike Tenay and all them. And I'm thinking, I'm sitting down talking to them and I'm saying, this is neat. I'm back here with people that I'm watching on TV that I idolize, but you can't talk to them like, man, I'm a big fan. You can't do that when you know that you're like one of them. You're like one of the boys when you're in the back,
Right.
And I'm like, and half of the people probably don't even know this. You do, but for wrestling fans, when they're all back there, they're actually watching that big screen. They're watching. Every wrestler sits back there and watches every match from the back. It's not like they're just BSing, hanging out, having a beer. They're watching every single thing because they got to be, know exactly, and they got to mark it up on the board, the counts, there's a lot that goes through. It's not like just like, hey, come into work 4:00, we're going to shoot till 7, you're out of here. Not even close. Not even close to that.
Yeah, it's a different world. I mean, now you got to see the real thing. I got to see the real thing and the independent scene, which is a lot different because that's where some people think they know the business, but they don't really.
Right.
So.
And of course they're trying to make a name of themselves, so they think they'll take you out, and meanwhile you're like, okay, you're going to end up ruining your career, buddy. You do that again.
Right. Yeah, I've been with some pretty reckless people too.
Oh yeah.
And I also I'm the only radio show that has its own wrestling belt.
Oh, you got the belt? Oh yeah.
The Trash Talking Radio belt. And
that's cool.
In States, I should send you a picture of it. It's pretty cool. And it was a great gimmick because no matter what place I went to, I could have my own match. It was my rule, my belt, my match.
You call the shots. You say, "Winner, hey, either way. I'm bringing the belt back home. This is how it's going to go down."
Well, originally, I was just managing it. Then I decided to rep it, and then I decided to defend it. So I held the belt till I finally retired, and that was a highlight.
Now I know. Earlier you were saying when you had Hogan on there, I don't know if a lot of people know. He's an author. He wrote a book himself. I don't know if you knew that or not, but you probably did your research on it. But that's when he talked about how he dropped what's that guy off for Sia? The one he dropped on his head when they were doing the wrestling on stage.
Yeah, I mean that book is partially fiction. A lot of the things he said didn't really happen. So it's good reading.
Yeah. Well, I liked it because it had it has the auto sound with it too, so you can just go through the picture. You don't have to read it; you just listen to the sounds of it. So they do all the talk, the narrating and stuff. So
yeah, I just remember that he exaggerated a lot of things, and some things didn't happen quite. They couldn't happen because of the timeline he gave.
Right.
But all the wrestlers have their books, and they all can exaggerate however they want.
I'm trying to figure out if I'm sure he had to downsize obviously when he moved out of the big castle over there in Bel Air, but I haven't been at his new house yet. But when he was over there, the whole downstairs was all his memorabilia, and I thought it was really cool when I seen the the belt that he had at the off the Rocky movie. That was a neat situation. I thought it was really neat. He had a pinball machine down there. I'm thinking all these things, man, that people made, just to idolize him or whatever, which is pretty cool.
The guy, man, I mean, you can't discount all the things that he's done. He got a bad rap with this whole, with the whole videotape or Bubba thing, and I mean, we followed that. We talked about that on the show a lot, and shame on Bubba for even having that thing. And talk about destroying the guy's legacy. You couldn't do it any worse than they did it.
Yeah, I agree.
And I don't know. I stopped listening to Bubba around that time because I was so frustrated that that even had to happen. There was no reason that they needed to do that to him.
No, and if you knew something like that existed, if I had hypothetically I have you over at my house and I have you on video doing it, first of all, it's going to put down your wife anyway. Put down the wife anyway. Put down Heather, made her look like a piece of crap.
Right.
And then not only that, which I don't understand, they settled out of court for $5,000, but he sued everybody else, and and of course Bubba's trying to say, hey, well, Spice should be that. No, you know what? It should be the person who filmed the damn thing. You should have,
had other copies of it.
Yeah, I mean, you should have.
It should have never happened. There's no reason that would have never happened if he didn't video in the first place, and if he treated his people right, it would have never happened.
Absolutely, and not only that. Now, everybody knows this, and or has an idea. There's more out there, that just haven't surfaced yet. Damn well.
Sure.
Damn well, and he had a lot of guests over there. Tony Stewart, other people that Deion Sanders. You don't know. I mean, I'm not saying Heather slept with all those guys, but I'm just saying it could be a possibility that she did, and they could be on film too. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and this they're not. They're going to treat it like it's just horrible, man. Just go ahead. Hey, you filmed it for your own personal reasons? Do you want to see your best friend over there, around your old lady? You want to watch that? Go ahead and pleasure yourself, and then put the video away. Don't bring it so everybody can see it. Yeah, don't bring it so everybody can see it.
I don't think that the thing is that they didn't know about it, destroy them. And as far as the Hogan thing goes, I'm not totally sure that I believe that he didn't know, but it doesn't matter if he knew or not because it still ruined his career.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's going to be okay because he's got enough money from, even if he loses a lawsuit, the countersuit, he still has enough money in the long run that he'll be okay. But,
absolutely.
It tarnished his reputation, and forever, we're going to think of Hogan not for all the good things he does, but for the one bad thing that he got caught doing.
It's very sad because it hurt him in every way. Nobody wants him around. Nobody wants him on shows. I mean, certain ones do, but that hurt him greatly, and it was the complete wrong thing for that man to do.
It's a shame. It's a shame to have that kind of thing destroy your reputation of a lifetime, because he used to be the guy that was number one in the Children's Miracle Network and all that other things. Nobody's going to remember that.
Exactly. It's very sad. It really is. And then the one who taped it is now getting more recognition for that, and people are now tuning into him and, just to see what happens next and if he talks about it and what goes on, which that's really sad too, because that totally hurt Hogan. And he's never going to be able to make what he used to because of this stuff. Because like you said, people are going to remember him for this. and not anything else.
But the thing that's good about it, if there is a good thing, and not that there really is that he's at least at the end of his career and not the beginning of his career.
Very true.
Right.
You know, his time was limited for how long he could still make money, because, you know, the way it is, he still makes money off of, and actually his fans, his diehard fans, still will acknowledge him and pay money for his autographs.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
You know, it's just sad because that should have never happened.
Yep.
Not at all.
So, but anyway, yeah, I'm glad I got to come on your show. I'm glad that you know, I got out of the movie in time. I was kind of scared because I was getting near the end of the movie, and I'm thinking, I hope this wraps up here.
Well, go ahead and plug yours, and what we'll do is maybe one day we'll go ahead and do the same thing. We'll come on your show.
Oh yeah, definitely. I definitely would like that. Well, it's Trash Talking Radio. It's on every Tuesday from 7 to 10 on trashtalkingradio.com and The Mix. And basically, we talk about everything under the sun. So.
And then I believe Kat's over there. Is that the his Facebook page?
Yep, I already went ahead and shared the links on our Facebook page too.
Okay.
Yeah, and if you want to follow me, it's Mike Trash TTRS on Twitter. It's Vital Idol Classy Mike Trash on Facebook, and it's also Trash Talking Radio Show on Facebook. And Uncle Sam Band in PA is the music page. And actually, that's our Facebook, but if you wanted to go to our regular page, it's UncleSamBand.us is our regular web page. And if you want to see what's going on with my TV show, it's Vital Idol under Facebook. So that's all the places, as if it isn't enough to come. Might be a little Mike Trash overload.
Hey, you know what? You got to keep on moving. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, that's true. So, yeah.
Well, man, it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Like I said, maybe I'll maybe this Tuesday I'll call up your show and we'll coordinate a little bit on there. So, and Danny, good call on getting him on here. That was a great interview.
Yeah, thank you, Mike, so much. I greatly appreciate it, and I hope our listeners that are listening to us right now tune into you guys on Tuesdays because, like I said earlier, I tuned in, and it was a damn good show. So, and I will be looking forward to Tuesday nights from now on, listening to you guys.
Well, I appreciate that, and I'm glad you guys. I'm glad you stumbled upon us, and we try to keep things light and fun, and much like you do. And it's just nice to see that people appreciate what we're doing because sometimes you wonder if anybody really appreciates what we're doing. But my fan base has been listening to me for a long time. My hardcore guys have been listening to me since the beginning almost, and they usually listen to the archives because we archive everything that we do.
Yeah, that's the good thing. You know, if Kat didn't teach me that, she didn't even teach me. She does it anyway. But that's the great thing about it. I didn't know Sam's did that. It records it by itself. I never knew that. I'm like, damn, damn, I forgot to record it. And she's like, no, it goes into the file here and it does this and that. I'm like, no. You just keep on doing what you're doing. I'm out of it.
Well, I'd like to get a copy of this from tonight. And,
oh yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
For my girls, and hopefully, like I said, we'll cross promote some more. And it's fun talking about the wrestling and the stuff. And it's good to talk to someone that has a little experience like myself.
Absolutely, I agree 100% with you. Yeah, Kat will work on that. I usually give her pressure, but she'll have it. She's usually like a day or two behind, but she'll get it done.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well that's great. All right. Well, I don't want to tie your show up anymore. I guess you probably want to wrap it up itself anyway.
Yeah. We're gonna play a little music, talk a little bit, and then wrap it up. But Mike, it's been a pleasure, man, talking to you, brother.
Hey, I'm a big fan.
Thank you.
I'm serious about that too. I definitely followed some of the things that you did and said, "Man, this guy's insane." So you did worse stunts than I did. So.
Well, you never know. You know what? Maybe we'll you get back into wrestling. I'll be the manager outside, and I could take some bumps now.
Okay, well we'll consider that with the Trash Talking Radio title. It may go on the road.
Absolutely, man. Hey, I'll be the manager on the side, brother.
Sounds good. All right. Thanks for having me on.
All right, Mike. Thank you. All right, bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
And so thank you, Mike Trash, for going ahead and joining our show tonight. And thank you, Danny, for setting that up.